He's a Hollywood icon and an impressionist dream. These are the best impressions of Christopher Walken.
You do impressions as well, Bradley, don't you?
Sometimes, if you want me to talk, I just, whatever comes into my head, I'll say. I don't know when or what it's gonna be.
Is that your mum?
As you can see, Bradley Cooper may have spent too much time with Christopher Walken.
The first time I met Christopher Walken was in the makeup chair, and one thing he told me was like, your hair is like, what you have to do to maintain your hair is keep rubbing it all the time. Fingers in your hair is great. Bradley, great.
The good thing about having actor friends is they can just impersonate you whenever you can't make it to an award ceremony.
Christopher couldn't be here tonight, Mike, but he did send the following telegram. Mike! It's crazy. You know, the AFI, it's an award. It's like the Tony, which I'm up for, and you have a bunch of. It's crazy.
And frankly, I'm just sick and tired of all you cats just living off my name forever. So leave me alone and bring me the Doritos, would you?
Mr. Walken, do you have a response for Marlon?
Well, you know... He's just stoned, you know. You gotta forgive him, you know. He's crazy that way.
One thing that makes Walker's charisma so iconic is his staggered rhythm of speech. So much so that we even got an impression from Johnny Depp himself.
I remember the first time I met Walken was during a rehearsal for a film we did together years ago. Everyone was calling him Chris. I thought, well, it seems awfully familiar, so I asked him, I said, do you prefer to be called Chris or Christopher? And he said, Chris. But you can call me Flash.
I didn't know you do impressions. That's very good.
Oh, and then he burst into hysterical laughter. And
You see?
I didn't understand.
Even The Big Bang Theory couldn't resist slapping a Walken impression into the script.
You'd think, after all these years, I'd know not to fly over volcanoes. I'm a freaking idiot. The dragon's Christopher Walken. That's perfect.
Big Bang Theory were not the first to come up with this idea, however. Let's take it back to the 90s when Ryan Reynolds set the trend on two guys, a girl, and a pizza place.
Forget about it, Berg.
Give me the phone, Pete. I mean, you're my boy. I don't want to hurt you, you know? It's good, but you're being crazy, you know? Don't go. Stay.
Who is that?
Christopher Walken. Actually, it's me doing an impression of Bernie's impression of Christopher Walken.
It's terrible.
Bernie's is terrible. Mine's right on.
Forget it.
Forget it, you know. I can't do that, Pete. No, it's no good, you know. I want to, but the time is past.
I mean, it's not good.
Now, what happens when you ask the king of impressions to impersonate the most frequently impersonated actor? The results are actually quite ironic.
You know, I feel like what this show needs is more cowbell. Depends on what you like me to say. Basically, there's no punctuation. Anything that comes out of my mouth. I like that.
I cannot do Christopher Walken, which everyone can do Christopher Walken.
Some people do him.
Yeah, he's like a guy that everyone does.
But don't be too hard on yourself, Bill. You actually do a pretty good job.
Wow. When's the last time I saw you, Stanley?
It's my brother John's wedding 15 years ago.
That wedding was so nuts. I recall we stole the ice sculpture. I wonder what happened to it.
I don't know. It probably melted.
Makes sense.
One time they asked Chris Walken, they said, Chris, if you could have anything in the world, what would you want? And he told them, he went, well, I'd want a tail. And people went, why, Chris? Well, if I was happy, my tail would be up. And obviously, if I was sad or scared, my tail would be down. You're going, I'm with you.
Yeah. Elvis to Christopher Walken, is there anyone Austin Butler can't transform into?
You know, I'd always seen a film as a whole thing, but then I sort of was able to break it down and go, somebody had to write these words, and this is brilliant. And so I printed out the script, and I'd read it to my mom when we drove up to auditions or acting class or that sort of thing. And so it would be like somebody would pull up, and I'd be a 12-year-old kid saying to his mom, you know, for 5 long years, I carried this watch up my ass.
I danced in China in 1964 in the great dance-off of Beijing of 1964. It never gets reported because 4 people died in the great dance-off of 1964. I was competing against an amazing tap dancer by the name of Ying Yang. He was a fat Chinese guy, which we call a chunk. That guy ended up killing 4 people with fists and teeth and amazing feet that were flying everywhere. Moral of the story is, don't dance in China.
Who is this guy? You know, I appreciate getting this award. It feels very good to get it. You know, finally, to get something that I could call my own. Who is this guy? Awards, Oscars, it's the same thing. What am I talking about? Maybe I know what I'm talking about. Maybe I just don't want you to know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
That happened to me with Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
I had a sketch where I was a host, and I was a big
I
fan of his.
am Christopher Walken. Jesus Christ. You never heard of
That's a
Christopher
good
Walken?
one. I like that.
I never heard it before either. I just assumed everyone could do it.
Everyone does it.
Let's just give the Best Dad Award to Gary Oldman. The British actor wakes up his son every morning with a Christopher Walken impression. I mean, how else do people wake up their kids in the morning?
My son Gulliver, he's 20 and he's a lovely kid, but he just finds it very difficult to get up.
Yeah.
So he always says to me, I really need to be somewhere tomorrow. Would you give me a call? And I'll go in and wake him up as Chris Walken, you know, and I say, Gully, come on, you gotta get up, it's crazy.
Come on! I'll start the day, open the fridge in the morning like anyone does, and then it just happens. Oh my. We're out of soy milk. This is tragic news. News? For the lactose intolerant. I wasn't planning a trip to the market today, but clearly a drive to Trader Joe's is in my future.
There at the end of the driveway, looking utterly lost and alone, is Christopher Walken. I didn't see him inside the party. I didn't even know he was there, you know? But he looked so lost. I said, Chris, is everything all right? And he goes, stranded. I've been searching for over an hour for the who brought me. Yeah. It's clear to me now. They're gone. So I said, you know, do you need a lift? Can I? Please. So we're walking down the road to my car, right? And as we're going down, I remember that I recently had a break-in of my car, and I had to have a new alarm put in. And it came with one of these buttons you push. It starts the car before you get in. I didn't ask for it. But as we're approaching the car, I'm thinking, this could be fun. We get about 2 feet away from the car, just breaking off to go on either side to get in. But we're still outside the car, and I hit the button, the car starts, and he jumped back, I don't know, 3 feet? Wow! And then he's got his arms out like he's trying to gauge what the car's going to do next. You know that look? Is he the hunted or the hunter?
Jay Moore is so good, he can even impersonate a bad Christopher Walken impersonation.
I know everybody asks you to do
Wow,
it.
I'll jump and beat you to the punch. It's good that you're here. 101 ESPN St. Louis Sports Station.
It's the best I've heard. Everybody throws out that Kevin Pollak does the best. I said, stop it. You're being
Kevin
foolish.
Pollak will tell you I do the best.
Does he?
Oh, yeah.
He says that?
Kevin does great. It's too rhythmic. The sentences go like this. Like poetry, it follows a pattern, A, B, A, B. Whereas my Christopher Walken impression is one that follows really no pattern at all. It's its own entity. It's a dangling participle.
I'm the only one in America that can't do a Christopher Walken impression. But so, you know, struggle through. But we were in a house waiting to shoot, and he's in the back with Brittany Daniel and all the cast, and we're just sitting there. It's dead silent. They're fixing a camera, so no one knows what to say. And he goes, "David, you ever work with an actor dog?" And I go, "An actor dog? No, I don't think so. I don't think so." And he goes, "They're good. They do what they're told. They sit and stay, and they run around and chase stuff." And I go, "Cool, okay, keep it in mind." And then he goes, "Ever work with an actor cat?" And I go, "They have those?" He goes, "Oh, yeah. It's a big business, and they don't do anything." And he goes, "If you tell a cat to sit there and do something, they don't take direction." And I go, "Right." He goes, "And if you want them to move, you have to hit them with a stick, but a regular cat will move if you do that." And I go, yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Silent. He goes, "Ever work with an actor mouse?" I go, I have not. And he goes, "I did Mousetrap." He goes, "They're good." He liked him. He goes, "You tell a mouse to walk up here, take a beat, and go left, and they do it." And I go, "How?" And he goes, "I don't know." And I go, "I don't either." And he goes, "All right, rolling." I go, "All right."
It was the night before Christmas, right? When all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung. The children were nestled, snug in their beds. Of visions, sugar plums danced in their heads. Mama, in her kerchief, I in my cap, had just settled down for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn, there arose such a cloud, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window, it flew like a flash, tore open the shutters, threw open the sash. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave the luster of midday to objects below, when what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh. 8 reindeer.
From a